इस पे बनाई हुई है, मैं आपके साथ शेयर
जी जी
भी
जी।
करता हूँ प्रेजेंटेशन। तो मेरा जो
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम।
आज का होगा वो मेन यही।
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, we welcome Dr. Muhammad Jawad. Our today he is our presenter, and he will discuss about. First of all, Dr. Jawad will introduce himself, and then he will little bit tell us about the UK, especially education system, and then he will come to his own point, and then he will explain. So we welcome you, Dr. Mohammad Jawad, in OPAPA International Session. So hope you will enjoy your session.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Dr. Muhammad Jawad. I did my PhD from National Defense University. More then I go for postdoc in University of York, UK. I completed 2-year postdoc and further doing research with University of York and so many other universities from all over the world. First of all, as my colleague discussed with me, that I have to describe you about the educational and research scenario in UK. There are so many good universities there, which are very welcoming and always give you a supportive end while you are doing your research, like University of Oxford, Manchester University, University of York, and other one. Moreover, the atmosphere is quite welcoming for students and researcher. There's no difficulties as the context of Pakistani. There are so many Pakistani and Muslim community there, so it's very helpful. Moreover, if you are a brilliant student, they are will welcome you. They give you so many scholarships, which always help you in future. So if you have any queries regarding that one, you are most welcome to me and my colleague like Imran about the other questions. But now I think so. I come toward my topic. The today topic is Brexit, our transformational change. I'm going to present these slides and tell you about the problem, what's going on, and the recent scenario. I think so. It's not completed in one lecture, and there are so many questions, and I did so many research and work on it. So if you have any further question, you can contact me, and we will discuss about that. Okay. So start. What's Brexit? The perspective through which United Kingdom. There are four states of United Kingdom: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Vote in a referendum on 23rd June 2016 to leave the European Union is called or known as European Brexit. Brexit is transformed from Britain people to exit from European Union. Okay, first of all, we go that how that European Union enlarged. Since 1957, then there have been six main waves of enlargement of European Union. 1973, UK, Ireland, and Denmark include in it. 1981, the Greece include in it. 1986, Portugal and Spain. 1995, Austria, Finland, and Sweden. 2004, Latvia, Lithuania, Cyprus, Malta, Slovenia, Slovakia, Estonia, Hungary, Greece Republic, and Poland. 2007, Bulgaria and Romania, and 2013, Croatia. There are 28 states still now, which is UK is one of them. But in June 2006, which I told you, in 23rd June 2006, the UK became the first member nation to vote to leave European Union. And then in March 2017, the President Theresa May pressed Article 50, which means the first step to leave European Union. This is the main referendum vote, which everybody who is the resident, either the student, either the permanent resident, anyone can vote, and this is the slip which they got in a referendum. You can easily see that that anyone remain a member of European Union and leave the European Union. So the concept and the thing that people never know why what they are voting. No, it's clearly mentioned that they want to leave or they want to remain. But there are so many aspects which they told before that one and describe in their speeches, and which is not described in that slip. So these are the main steps. Okay, consistent even after referendum, the Prime Minister David Cameron, which is the Prime Minister at that time of referendum, resigned on 13 July 2006 due to the vote of Brexit, and Theresa May is appointed after 3 weeks as a new Prime Minister of United Kingdom to bring forward the Brexit. She announced to trigger the Article 50 in the end of March 2017, from which United Kingdom will not be the member of EU after April 2019, means after 2 years, the UK would be not be the member of European Union. The next process which is going on after that one, 24th June referendum result, Cameron resigned. 13th July, Theresa May became Prime Minister. July, new ministers of Brexit and for international trade setup. November, legal case against government attempt to trigger Article 50 without Parliament approval. These steps are happening. These processes are happening in 2016. Then in 2017, on 17th January, first detailed speech from Mrs. May on Brexit. 24th January, Supreme Court find against the government. Parliament must vote on Article 50. So Supreme Court stopped that one, that you get the permission from Parliament before triggering that one. On 1st February, House of Commons vote 498 and 114 in favor of European Union. Withdrawal bill allowing government to trigger Article 50. So they all, because of this scenario, they all majority 498 voted for to leave European Union. On 2nd February, white paper published. A white paper is that one. If you have any obligations or anything or any reservation, you can put in that one. In March 2017, notification bill passes through Parliament. In March, the trigger of Article 50 notice to withdrawal means that why they ask before, but there is specifically a document which is signed by the Prime Ministers goes to the Parliament, European Union Parliament in Brussels for that. So the next step, which is happening in future by the end of 2018, withdrawal agreement in the final form would be there, and they are discussing about that one. That's why Theresa May is going again and again there. In early 2019, rectification of withdrawal agreement by member state means they are discussing, they agree on that the same one or not, and if there is any ambiguity, they discuss again and again and want to finalize that one. In early 2019, because why I'm saying early, because they have to finish it before April 2019. So that's why this is the first quarter of 2019. Vote on withdrawal agreement in UK Parliament, yes or no? But March 2019 Brexit, unless extended. So if there is any ambiguity, they have to extend it from Parliament, and there's then European Union Parliament in Brussels. They have to extend it from there. Okay. What the main key characteristic of EU single market before? What the main thing? What they are getting there and what they are leaving and what they will be get in the future. The first point is free trade in goods. Business can sell their products anywhere in EU member states, and consumer can buy where they want with no penalty. So first concept, free trade in goods. You see there's a perfect market collaboration there. So perfect market competition will be there. Mobility of labor. So citizens of EU member state can live, study, and work in any other country. The aim is to improve the mobility of labor, can help the labor market, industries, and moreover, reduce the underemployment as well. Remember of movement of capital. Financial capital can flow freely between member state, and EU citizen can use financial service such as insurance any EU state. So you can insure anywhere in the EU, and you can get the benefit from other like medical benefit and other thing. Moreover, if you want to invest in any state, you can easily invest. Free trade in service, professional services such as pension, architecture, telecom, and advertising can be offered in any member state. So you can advertise in any member state about your product, and you can get that market easily. So for a nation, there are 27 other market which is fully available. So we are saying the major export market for UK goods and services. These are the main goods and services. You can say the chart. There are so many. You see the China, Germany, Netherlands, France, Irish Republic, Belgium, Switzerland, Spain, and Italy. See, there are so many things where UK can export their thing and service. Overseas trade in goods and services is done with the United States and Germany. 7 of the top 10 export markets for Britain are with European Union countries. This emphasizes the importance of trade agreement after Brexit. So the main point is that if it's the top exporting countries in the European Union, so there should be a need of another agreement, because after leaving the European Union, you can't easily or without taxes or without anything, you can bring your product which you previously sent. It's not possible. So there is also need of that agreement as well. Major import source for the UK economy. Every economy needs something from other resources. So that's why see the chart. You can see there are so many other things. Like if you see the German, the value in million pound, 60,820 million pound. The UK imports good from Germany. Is a total import of 14.6. And so see, Germany is the biggest source of UK import product. Germany is the world biggest exporter of manufacturing product, and UK consumer have a higher income elasticity of demand for them. Like they are very keen about their product. They always like instrument and electricity products are always they want to use about the Germany one because the reliability is quite well. China is now the second biggest source of import product for the UK. So see, like if they want to continue their economy, they need an agreement with Germany to import their things. Okay, withdrawal agreement is the easy part. They think that it's an easy part, but it's going more complicated and complicated. Long-term EU, EU-UK agreement, they want to. Temporary interim agreement, why? Because before the long-term agreement signed, you can't say that in that era there's no agreement and he can do anything, so it's illegal. So they need an interim agreement before the long-term EU UK agreement will be signed. UK to negotiate the free trade agreement with countries with existing FTA with EU, other countries USA, China, Australia. UK to negotiate the World Trade Organization as well. So these are the these are the aspect or the things or the option which they are thinking about that one. The assumptions, like every case, they feel some assumptions for doing that one is Brexit will not block in the courts, although people will try. Brexit will not block in the parliament, no election until 2020. That's why Theresa May was going for another election, and hardly they never get the majority, but hardly they get a condition on which they go for the Brexit. Brexit will not be blocked by the developed authority in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, although they will try. And they are asking for the second referendum, another thing which I described you before. There will not be another referendum, UK will leave. So they are also trying about that one, but these are the assumptions they feel that it's not be happening on that time. Okay. UK EU relationship after the Brexit. UK import from EU is 341 billion. UK export to EU is 260 billion. You see, there's a specifically gap of 81 billion in it. If there's no agreement, everyone suffer. Specifically, 27 states of EU and UK all both suffer. And UK is the third biggest export market for each of France, Germany, and Holland. About 50% of UK export are to the UK. Specifically, like if they are exporting and they are going in EU, it's specifically. Moreover, one more thing, if we discuss about the human power, there are more than 1 million people which are serving in EU, and there are 3 million people who are serving in England, so in UK. So specifically, there very uncertain condition about these serving people. They stay there, they get any visa or they get any opportunity they want to get. Everyone want to retain in a certain situation which the extension of Brexit is making it wrong and wrong. Now after that one, there will be a hard or soft Brexit. The hard Brexit, what is that mean? That United Kingdom leave the EU single market and trade under World Trade Organization rules. The second option under WTO means World Trade Organization rule. Each member must grant the same market access, including charging the same tariff to all other members as the most favorite nation. But specifically, it's kind difficult because in the hard condition when they leave, it's quite difficult for them to give them a same access as before, or they get another opportunity. The second option is soft Brexit, involves the option of staying in a single market like Norway. As a member of European Economic Area, Norway has a free trade agreement with the European Union, which means that there is no tariff on trade between the two. But there is some visa obligation, there's some human human trafficking or some visa access on that one. So there's some complication in it. So there's some soft Brexit option as well. So these are the options which we can discuss. A future outside the EU, the Norway option. This so-called Norway option allow for the free movement of goods, service, capital, and people, but Norway has no formal input into shaping the rules of single market, although all new rules must be adopted. Annual fees is paid by Norway for access the EU single market. Under the Norway option, all UK banking and financial service regulation would be mutually recognized as good enough, and thus all EU members would have automatically grant full access to UK-based firms. The next option, which is Norway options, does not include free trade in food or participation in EU agriculture subsidies or in the EU's regional policy, and nor does it require Norway to adopt EU trade policy with respect to non-EU nation. So these are the Norway option. The second option is joining EFTA. EFTA is European Free Trade Area. EFTA member provide the UK with less access to the single market beyond goods trade. So Switzerland is the most prominent EFTA member and is required to strike bilateral treaties with the EU to secure access to the single market for specific service only. In 2014, the Swiss voted in favor of restraining migrants. The EU has made it clear that this is incompatible with the access of single market. So they stop it doing like this one. Switzerland make a smaller per capita contribution to EU budget that Norway is the EEA to reflect the lower level of market access. Means Norway is paying more than Switzerland. Okay, so out not the Norway one, not the Switzerland options. So the third option is WTO option and unilateral trade. WTO is a World Trade Organization, whose everyone is almost signing it and going for that one, but it's quite complex and biased. That's why it's not implemented in the world right now. So UK will be completed out of the EU single market. It will face the EU external tariff and goods services in the absence of comprehensive free trade agreement. Gain in having more control, migrant and policy and freedom to trade with the rest of the world, including established free trade agreement in emerging countries. Unilateral free trade is the option favored by a group called Economists for Brexit. This involves in the UK leaving the EU single market, elimination of EU trade barriers on import, pressing for global free trade, control of border to support migrant control, and democratic control of UK laws and regulations. So EU, if you think that these are the EU, that these are the options, these are the aspects which you can say that how they are going on. Like if we are going only for the migrant control, if we are going for EEA in Norway, there's no migrant control. EFTA, there's an option for that one. They if they want to stop it, they go for the specific rule and they have to accept it. Custom union, Turkey, yes, they are behaving like custom unions. Like Turkey has to meet visa, custom has to sign new treaties for the new agreement. World Trade Organization, yes, they can do it with that. If we go further, these are the some effect of Brexit. If you see like Netherlands trade with UK measured as percent of GDP is 7.6%, and percentage of investment from the UK is 27.6. So if we see closely line in many EU policy debates favor liberalizations of EU. So it's like this one. There are so many ties between European countries and UK. This is the EU budget and the UK net contribution in it. Like if we see the current year of 2018, you see 8,049 million pound in it in the EU budget, which is going more in 2020 by 9,374 million. Okay, possible short-term impact of Brexit on the economy of UK. The first impact, which is always come on your exchange rate. So weaker exchange rate, depreciation, sterling fell against US dollar and euro in wake of Brexit port, higher price of imports. Like they have to pay more about to bring. Whenever your country destabilize, you have to pay more about your imports. Over 50% of UK imports come from UK, as we discussed before, about half of which are intermediate goods such as component part. So these are the main compulsory good for your products, for your technology. So you can't defect about them. More impact, which is high current account deficit, short-run real GDP growth, housing market, you see it's demolishing. Like if you go for, if you see previously, I give you an example, like 3 weeks before, the UK market housing market depressed by 25,000 pounds. More unemployment. So these are the main one. Because of the shortage of time, I'm going further and further. So if you have any question, we will discuss it afterward. Impact of Brexit on developing countries. Yeah, it's not only effect on only in the European Union. It's effect on the other countries as well. Brexit is likely to have effect on developing countries over time. Much depend on the nature of Brexit deals. Means it's a hard one or the soft one that the UK makes with the EU and other nations, plus the impact of Brexit on UK growth and government finances. Main its effect on these one: trade, foreign investment, economic growth, aid, migration and remittances, and global collaboration. The UK will to lead the EU comes at the time when many developing economies are already facing multiple shocks like lower oil prices and commodity prices, a strong US dollar which is increasing day by day, a slowing Chinese economy. So these are the sources from where I get it. These so on this different um, problematic era which is going on, this is like a new one which is affecting the developing countries more because they are always thinking about the developed countries. They have the ties with them, so it's always aspect of Brexit on developing countries. So I'm discussing about these aspects like slower UK growth and weaker pound is going to contract any export to UK from developing nations, which is going to continue, such as Bangladesh and Kenya most affected. Like um, if their pound is going down, their employment increases, and there are not more opportunities. So the opportunity, like the people going are they import from Bangladesh the raw material or the Kenya, the manpower, and the other thing, they're always affected by that. The other one, migration flow are uncertain, possible short-term rise, fall in external value of pound, reduced value of remittances, and it's affected by South Africa, Uganda, Nigeria, especially affected because these are the cheapest people labor which they get it. So these, even though I really apologize that there is a fixed labor rate, but there's so many loopholes in that one, and people are negotiate even on the fixed rate on the minimum basic rate. So these are the people who are always available to work in less than the basic rate. So these are affecting more when they never get the appropriate price. They never send the money in their country. So the remittances always go down. UK aid was 18.7 billion in 2015. Falling pound cuts the real value. Specifically, if the pound destabilizes, always cut the value. 10% of the UK aid flow through the EU, and which is going on. Key in whether the UK maintain their 0.7% of GNI aid target after Brexit. It's quite difficult. So these are the main ones. Now I am discussing about the micro and macro effect of leaving the single market. So first we are discussing about the micro one. The EU is a custom union, and leaving it may lead to higher import tariff on EU export, which we already told you that 50% is coming from EU. Higher import prices increase cost of UK firms, who then experience lower profit. Consumer welfare would suffer, specifically when you earn less, you give less. They assume that the UK is unable to negotiate a wide-ranging free trade deal with EU before Brexit is finalized. So whenever they want to talk about trade and other things, they say no. Firstly, we have to discuss the main pioneers points and then this, because they always think that these are the less point or the weaker point of the UK. The second point, some UK firms and industries might suffer from a decline in net inward migration from EU, like they get the less easily get the manpower from there. In sections such as hospitality, technology, and construction, EU workers has helped overcome skills shortage. A fall in UK net payment to the EU could fund increased investment in better technical training for UK workers. So these are the facts. Leave the EU might cause delaying a border delays at border as UK firm comply with EU rules. Many product cross border several times. Just-in-time delivery required minimum border delays. Cost will rise. Specifically, it's delaying on that one. And most UK export already comply with EU regulation. Post-Brexit business will have less red tape to deal with. So these are them. Now we are discussing about the macroeconomic factors. Leaving The EU will allow the UK to make many free trade agreements with other nations. Yeah, yes, they allow it, but on which circumstances, on which parameter, it will be discussed afterward. Free trade deals with fast-growing emerging economies might see a surge in UK export, which will add the GDP of growth. However, complex trade agreements take time, which I told you before. The recent EU-Canada free trade deal took 7 years to agree. So I don't think so that UK have now 7 to 10 years to deal with that. That's why Theresa may visit China, Australia, and New Zealand for the new markets. Leaving the single market will allow the UK economy to limit that inward immigration from UK. This will provide opportunity to UK people to find work and also lead the slower growth of house prices and rent. Specifically, they want that the people who are living in UK has a permanent residence there. They always say that we do not get employment, so they want to bring that point that we have so much employment opportunity now. So if you want to go for employment, you easily get that one. But the UK suffer from long run skill shortage. But you know, every you have to skill your people about every type of things. Parts of the economy and NHS are hugely reliant on migrations. The third point is leaving single market, diminish UK trade with EU, and will cut inward investment. Specifically, you know about that. When anybody go in any other country, they rent a house, they invest something, they spend on the food, so it's decrease the investment in that sector. 44% of Britain export go to EU, 22 billion out of 510 billion. High tariff would make UK export harder to sell in the EU, specifically because it's more costly, and they go for other options like China, USA, another one who give them the cheapest price products. This depend on the trade deal with the EU. Inward FDI depends on many factors, including tax and regulations. Okay, after discussing the micro and macro effect, what happens if there is no agreement after 2 years? So no, the another step rather than hard Brexit or soft Brexit, some people say that don't go for any agreement if there is no agreement. If there is no good talk, don't go for them. So now afterward, we are discussing that if there is no deal, no agreement, what will happen? Is no deal better than a bad deal? WTO rules would be the least integration economic relation the UK could have with the EU. But suppose if you bring with no deal, if then what would you think the EU allow you for doing the WTO rules with it? No. Under the WTO, the UK and EU would be subjected to extend tariff on import with no agreement, no deal, and potentially chaotic and disruptive outcomes, breakdown in supply chain, chaos at Dover, air custom control are introduced, a serious disruption in air traffic. Her Majesty Treasury, relying solely on WTO rules, will result in significant reduction in the openness of the UK economy to outside world. It would be the alternative with the most negative long-term impact on the both sides, specifically the tariff, the taxes, and other thing. It not only decrease your export but also affect the imports. Okay, the second point, migration and free movement. If we go with no deal, control of migration, the major factor in the referendum result, home security, Amber Earth, we are ending free movement as we know it. So if you stop the movement of EU national, would you think that EU allow UK nationals to move in their country? No. Key priority, status of EU national resident in UK and UK citizen living in other member states, which I told the number before you. Questions to be resolved, including entry requirement and rules for the short-term movement into the in and out of UK, and requirement of those living to live or work in UK longer term. Specifically, people are living here for 10 years in EU visa and they have no restriction. So after that one, what happened? Immigration bill to be published before 2019. They want to know there will be a signed agreement, there will be a mutual agreement on which the both parties know what is going on. Chancellor Phillips Hammond has suggested a relatively liberal agreement, possible special status for EU national, concerns for tourism sector as well, and European ESTS system Uh, will British visitors to Europe be required to go through this process? Like specifically when you go in a European Union, you have to go with some specific system. You have to answer some questions. So is this system will be happening in UK people as well? No, as I told you before about the Scotland issue, potential referendum on Scotland independence in late 2080 or early 2019. They gave so much incentives to Scotland to stop that referendum or to debate about that one, but eventually Scotland would be go for that one. On March 28, Scottish Parliament voted by 69 to 59 vote. May views second referendum only possible after March 2019 once Brexit negotiation process completed. There's one thing which is going on. That's why May is about that one. That if the referendum is going before that Brexit end, and Scottish Parliament and people voted about that one that they want to live with EU, so they have to give independence, Scottish independence. So that's why this is a difficult thing for them. So Barroso described that any country that's scared from a member state lose its EU membership as well, specifically because if UK leave uh, EU, Scotland get independence. After that one, they never get a membership from EU. Referendum unlikely to be held in the time prior to the UK formal departure from EU. Choice will therefore be for Scotland to remain in the UK outside the EU or leave the UK and seek EU membership from outside. But if they do it after that Brexit, they have to start it from beginning. So after that one, there's a legal consequences. So what's the legal one? So what are the legal consequences of a hard Brexit? Much depend on what happened in the EU. Very few details yet, specifically because if you straight away come from that one and you say that there is no agreement for that thing, they always go for the consequences. And here are some informed guesses which might be happen, which will be happen. So these are some guesses. This is not the exact thing. Uh, Great repeal bill like until Brexit, EU laws still apply. So it's applied till April 2019. Great repeal bill likely to pass summer 2007, conditional of Brexit. Two purposes of that one: repeal the European Communities Act 1972, return sovereignty to UK Parliament and UK courts, preserve and convert EU laws into UK law. In principle, no change. Specifically, they want that you have to implement the EU laws in there because there are so many EU people are there. More complicated than it sounds, will lead consent in some area from the devolved authority in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Many law depend on EU bodies. What will happen? And many won't make sense once UK has left. Specifically, like their benefit, their human one, it's contradictory with the UK law. So if they leave EU, how they're going to survive at that time. At the moment of Brexit, EU and UK law will be essentially the same, but then inevitably diverse. Then the Court of Justice of EU will cease the have jurisdiction over UK, but will all CGEU decision will still binding? Like they say, no, before that one you are in EU, that's why this law would be implemented, but now you are outside of that one, so it would be not implemented. Should EU law that has become UK law be interpreted by EU or UK legal principles? Because whenever you interpret something, it's vary from person to person. Will new CGEU decisions be relevant to UK? Answer to these questions will be important to speed the divergence. Then, then competition and antitrust likely to change. Significant change in process specifically. At the moment, UK competition authority cannot investigate where European Commission take jurisdiction one stop shop like this one. This is the example that you have to stay in a shop and you can buy anything. This will change and likely to be parallel EU and UK investigation on cross-border matters. Expensive, uncertain, time-consuming. Like if they stop in Dover, whenever there's anything coming from EU, they always do in Paris as well. Uh, like in a Dover, when anything goes from UK to EU, UK and EU law will differ diverge over time because UK will no longer have to apply EU presidents, and moreover, UK government increased power to review mergers on public interest ground, greater control over foreign ownership of strategic business, which EU have before, pigeon train and other things. Now we are discussing about the legal consequences on contracts. No change in law likely, not affected by EU. Potential issues of interpretation of existing contract, like obligation to comply with a piece of EU legislations. Will define term EU include UK after Brexit? What if EU law is essential to operate to operational of the contract? Like if it's very essential, and they say that if anything happen and UK leave EU, they have to implement it. What's going on then? Who is going to decide what's going on, and not biased results? Potential for Brexit to be material adverse changing forces. Um, Events depend on the term of the contract. So there are so many events which are going on afterwards and which has to comply. So what's the consequences of these events? Starting to see contracts which will span Brexit to contain Brexit clause like specific events, major exchange rate fluctuations lead to specific consequences like equal price adjustment. Like before that one, when the major effect on EU means euros happening, they have to diverge in different type of things and they have to stop it. So a trigger like imposition of tariff or non-tariff barriers leads to renegotiation, and if that fails, termination. Like before there's no tariff or anything imposed on the trade, but after that one there will be. So these contract would be needed, how much and when it would be required. Specific example of merger and acquisition transaction like Brexit guarantee, earn out, hard Brexit. So see these things need. Then there's a company law. Company Act 2006 heavily influenced by EU law but unlikely to change. UK companies will main center of operations in another EU member state may consider moving. Like London is the main hub of EU before that one. So after that one, maybe it's moved to Germany or Paris, in France, anywhere. Society, societies, European, UK ones will be probably become PLC automatically and will no longer be possible to transfer EU SCs, small industries, to the UK. Importance of industry regulation, especially in the financial sector, will be required. Then the previous step, which is very important about employment and labor, much of UK employment law is derived from EU law. Specifically, we discussed that EU want to establish their laws in UK. So normally there will be like a same. Unlikely that much will change. Normally it not be changed. Government we will maintain the protection standard that benefit workers. Possibly amendments, working time regulations, agency worker regulations, to easier to harmonize in terms of employment and caps on compensation of discriminations. So there would be happening these. Then they are discussing about the immigrations. Key reasons for Brexit: potential free movement of people will be impossible, though. So it's not possible that EU and UK. So there would be some immigration rule will be implemented. Over 3 million UK EU citizen in UK, 7% of working population. At the same time, strong business reasons to make immigrations of key workers as easy as possible, like from China, USA, Australia, etc., as well as you. Yeah, they never leave that one because they know their customs value and they are aligned from a so long time. So not just highly skilled jobs, agriculture, hospitality, and health depends on immigration labor. Some sort of targeted work permit system likely will be implemented, and over 1 million Britons in EU, they have to recuperate, means they have to establish that one, that how they live there. Or then they are very keen about their data protection rules. So like despite Brexit, the EU General Data Protection Regulation will come into effect in UK in May 2018. Yes, they have to sign everyone. They have to send an email that we have to get your data and we have to save it like this one. Will become the UK law under the Great Repeal Bill. Not clear how reference in it to EU-wide coordination with work after Brexit. Possible that UK rules will become more business friendly after Brexit. But essential that the data continues to move and that UK consider and educate by EU. Adequacy decision would be there. Government working to make sure that we achieve a coherent data protection regime and that data flow within the EU are not interpreted after we leave. So they want that this rule or this law would be implemented as well. So is there more time, or you go for a discussion session only? So it's up to you, people. Mm, because it's going on and there are so many other slides as well. So I want your suggestion in it, because there are 8 more slides which tell you about that ligament. Okay, I'm going to describe you about the journal system. So there will be so many dispute which I told you before that one, that their laws, moreover they have to file some contracts. Then environmental, there would be some specifically EU laws which have to control some environmental, heating, chemical and other regulation. They have to sign it, or they have to file that they are going to follow it or not. Moreover, there are some taxes which is defined in there, like these are business taxes, these are the value-added taxes. Whenever you go around in one state and you go on another state, they have to refund you if they charge you on another one. So it's like this one. And
Uh,
after that one, there's some tax sequences. On the conclusion, I'll only tell you the 4 point and then we end it. UK will leave EU. This is the main parameter. Uh, Brexit would be not soft because they are not coming in the right step, so it would be always a hard one. Then moreover, after that one, relationship with EU will take years to agree because they are leaving their one, and moreover, they are using the divorce bill. It's quite difficult. It's horrible to use, so there will be a negative effect on that one. And that last point, UK law will be the same on Brexit, but will gradually diverge over time. Means they will be follow the EU law at the start, but they are going to make it different after that. So that's all I think so. I apologize to take your more time, but Brexit is not a problem, a issue. It's a change. It's a change for the world, and people are looking for that one. So it's described the new ways for the new world, either it's developing or developed. So
uh,
thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed Jawad, for your detailed discussion on Brexit. Okay, I have 2 questions. Actually, it's one question, but it has 2 parts. First of
Okay.
all, after the Brexit, like as you said before, that Germany is the main importer for the UK goods and other manufacturing like materials. So my question is that after the Brexit, is any other European EU members will allow to deal individually in individual capacity? Number first. Secondly, what is the status of the for example the non-EU members? For example, like the UK, the UK will pursue their agreements, their other like business MOUs, which they already did during the member as a member of EU. Okay, so is still it that MOUs and that agreements will exist, which they take the opportunity as a EU members. So, what is your comments or your explanation about this?
Specifically, the first part of your question, sir, is that when UK leave, yes, specifically there would be the new law, there would be a new things, and they have implemented taxes and other things, but the law will be remain in 27 countries. So if Germany is going to sign an agreement, they sign the agreement with UK as a EU representative or a EU country. So it would be the same with all other country who sign anything. Moreover, if there's any MOU which is already signed with EU and UK was the member state of that agreement, so first of all they describe the date which is 2020. So still till 2020 they would be the same as it before, but after 2020 the UK is going to sign the new treaties with that one, and like Norway, Australia, New Zealand, China. and USA is very keen to sign new treaties with UK because they are thinking that it's a new opportunity for them. So it's a very ideal time, I think so. Uh, as a resident of Pakistan, I think so. Even Pakistani people, Pakistani government is going to take the advantage and sign a new treaty with UK because they need a skilled labor. They are pursuing the immigrants. They need different instruments. They need different imports things. So this is the ideal time for any opportunity for any developing country. So I think so.
Yes, because before they were UK was depending on the other European countries for the main power and for other you can say skilled people. But now after the Brexit, it is good opportunity for other development countries also. They can send their skilled workers. They can send their manpower, and even they can do some like business agreement with it. So I think it was a very good session. Some of our members joined later, but I hope they were enjoyed because the recording will be available for all of our members. And inshallah, we will learn from you in the next sessions. Maybe we will our management will discuss with you about your schedule and every time. So we want to have your session about the UK education system. We need a complete session from you, so it will helpful for our, especially for because you did postdoctorate in UK. So it will good opportunity for the, especially for those who are seeking MPhil PhD admissions in the UK universities, and because you traveled other European countries also. Mashallah, you have a very good profile, and almost you traveled all European countries. So it's a pride moment for all of us that a personality like you are being a Pakistani, being an overseas Pakistani, mashallah, you are with us. So if any of our members, other participants want to ask something, Dr. Jawad is here with us.
Yeah, sure.